Hello and welcome to CIO News. I am Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and chief editor at CIO News. This is our exclusive interview series with NPST, that is Network People Services Technologies Limited. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. I'm very excited and privileged to have this conversation with the CEO and the co-founder, Deepak Thakur, from Network People Services Technologies Limited, also known as NPST. Deepak has 18 plus years of rich experience. Prior to NPST, Deepak has worked with brands like Spanco, Frost & Sullivan, Response, etc. Deepak is a creative strategist having ability to roll out and implement solution to generate reasonable value for stakeholders. He's a versatile business leader with proven competences in optimizing team dynamics, uniting diverse agenda to common goal and harnessing strategic and operational drivers to deliver results. Deepak, it is an absolute pleasure to have you today and really looking forward to have this conversation with you.
Thanks, Khushbu. And there are things I came to know today about me from you. thanks for that introduction. Really look forward to this conversation.
It's like a flashback, right? When you actually hear about your journey.
Absolutely.
So great, Deepak. To begin with, I have my first question is, how did you come up with an idea of establishing an organization to provide digital payment solution, to the BFSI industry?
Yeah, so basically it all started long back when I was working for Frost & Sullivan. I was working under ICT domain. During that time, I used to write white papers. I used to write do consulting assignments. I used to write a lot of documents around technology, around the banking industry. And after that, I got an opportunity in Spanco to work in the business strategy group. That's where I realized that India during that time, somewhere in 2000. So we started this in 2013. Somewhere in 2009, 10, 11 odd, we were creating highway. This highway was all about those 2G technologies, 3G technologies, and then the future was obviously 4G planned further. The country was going through, change, right, from feature phone to smartphones. So all of this really excited me. And when I was doing that, I could see so much gap in the industry, and I could see so much future associated with the industry that I was working for. And that's where we realized that if this is the right time to take the step. So when we were doing this, you'll be surprised right now. All the millennials who might be using the phone today, they'll be surprised that earlier the technology was wherein the messaging was purely on SMS. There was no GPRS. And when the GPRS came in, we didn't even have 2G, forget about 4G. So that is the era that we have been through, right? So when all of that happened, we knew that it is purely going to change the way we live. This was somewhere, 10 years back when we realized this. And the entire world will be on the phone. If you are not on phone, that means you don't have an existence. This is what we discussed. So Ashish and me, when we were having a discussion before we started, and then also my CTO Rajiv Berry. So when we were having this conversation, we realized that let's take a step. Let's set up an organization and build a platform wherein we reach out to rural masses, semi-urban population, those who are deprived of the technology reach. Let us set up physical centers which would be powered by the bandwidth, will be powered by the services, and then these guys will be in position to deliver services to those people who are completely out of the reach of government and of the B2C services.
Right.
That's where we started, and then we started moving to the mobile phone. So that's how the journey began. There's a hell lot of research which has gone behind it. There's a lot of thought process behind building this organization, and I believe our past, our experience, and whatever we have done, we did until we set up the organization was the key factor to build the foundation of NPST. In fact, the name in itself is very interesting. We actually wanted to create a network of services by which would be empowered by technology for the people, and that's why it's network, people, services, technologies. And going forward, the technology became extremely prominent, and somewhere in 3-4 years back, we decided let's focus on NPST now, and let's make that T prominent. And that's how we have journeyed so far. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Deepak, this is one question that I always ask, to all the people that I talk to. We've had a time frame where we everybody in the world was struggling with COVID. So, how did NPST survive during COVID times?
Huge challenge. Obviously, we had. I remember when the COVID happened, we, like every other organization, we had no idea when it will end. Okay, that's how the COVID started, and we were still sitting, we were still figuring out how to work, we were still figuring out, what would be our challenges going forward and how we are going to, survive. And me, Ashish, and Rajiv, we took a decision that let's take the ownership in such a way that there should be zero job loss in our organization. We'll ensure that no one is out of work. Okay, and let us split the entire work between three of us, and let us focus on the business which can give me cash flow and the business which is future post COVID. So that's the strategy which we built in maybe within 2 months of COVID thing happened, because first month we were completely unaware how things would flow.
Yeah.
In month we took the decision. So in order to maintain cash flow, senior people in the organization, they started taking a hit on the overall payout, and they decided for X number of months, let's do this, let's support the organization. So I really thank and hats off to all the guys in the organization who took such decision. Secondly, I took the ownership of building the cash flow through certain service-based business, which may not be long-term, but important to survive, where we could deliver and get the cash flow in the organization. Third, the existing client base, those who are still struggling with the with the COVID, and they had a huge challenge, but the delivery were getting postponed. The challenges were such that we could not look at billing, we could not look at reaching out to client, but we have to continuously deliver. So we all spoke to client and we said that you ensure that your business is running. We are behind you. Don't worry about the processes which will get impacted for billing. Don't worry about how things will move ahead. You just ensure that your requirements keep coming to us and we will deliver that.
Right.
So that's how we split it. So we split the organization in such a way that the services business start coming in, we get the cash flow, and the client is empowered to take decisions, and the billing may happen later, but your services will continue to deliver. Right. Third, Ashish had to start building the organization internally in such a way that we had better process, how the work from home policy would work, how employees would be satisfied, all those things. So how to continue the organization internally, how to bring the cash flow, and how to ensure that the customer is aligned with his target and we are behind that. So can we convey that kind of message? So that's how we split the organization in three. I think COVID-1 is where most of the challenges happened. By the time COVID-2 came in, we were all prepared. This was a very short period where we had to take care of these things. I'm very proud to tell you that there was zero job loss. We picked up new business, and after COVID, there is no looking back, because whatever we built during COVID period, those became product in itself. And today we have larger product bouquet to sell. At the same time, we have very good credibility amongst those customers whom we service during that time, and that also started building the cash flow. So all this is now a positive impact over last 1 year.
Fantastic, fantastic. Deepak, how has NPST's journey been in the BFSI industry so far?
It's like a rocket. It started maybe a few years back, couple of years back. But prior to that, let me tell you, it was not that easy. It was quite tough to establish ourselves as one of the prominent solution provider. Somewhere in 2015, when we before starting our platform for BFSI segment, we were still trying to build our presence in the industry, and we realized that by having a presence for a good number of years, building credibility, building good product, we will definitely have long-term vision, and will definitely have long-term client list. So somewhere in 2015, when we were trying to run around government office, run around banks, and for months we were just asking them, why don't you give us an opportunity, allow us to present our solutions and all of that. We got 1-2 opportunity, and my first contract in mobile banking, I remember we were told that you have to invest everything, and all you have is 4 months of contract, and there will be no profitability. That's how I am going to give you the job. We took a decision. We said, okay, let's do this. Even if it is 4 months contract, fine, we are ready to invest like anything, but that gives me a platform to launch. That 4 months is now 7.5 years, the same client, and we added several more clients after that. So we decided, let's build extremely strong product stack, and let's be a product organization than the sales organization. So that was until 2019. Until 2019, we were focused with few clients, and we were building strong product in such a way that later when the sales team would start looking out for new clients, we really don't have to reinvent the wheels. We really don't have to relook at the products. So we started focusing on the foundation of the product. So for good 5 years odd, we were purely a product organization. During that time, we had struggle around our cash flow. We had struggle around raising the team size, with the limited team, motivating them, pushing them, trying to build the solution, being little futuristic. So that was all we did for about good 4-5 years. During this time, we did make some mistakes. There were 2 good products which we thought will have great presence in the market. We had to completely scrap it. We had to completely throw it out. And but then in 5 years, we realized what is that our DNA can embrace, what is that our technology can take, and what is that we can be in industry. That is what we discovered in our 5 odd years. And when that happened, we realized that it's all about payment. I mean, it's all about payment that we can do. So let's focus on payment. So 2 years, 3 years back, we realized that let's scrap everything beyond payment and focus only on the payment side. So coming back to your question, BFSI for us is where the payment industry is. There is a lot that can be done around BFSI. All that we intend to do is how to innovate and how to bring seamless payment solution for all our customers. It may be bank, it may be fintech, It may be a small merchant, it may be a large merchant, doesn't matter. It may be multinational, it may be in India, it may be beyond India. So, during that time when we obviously scrapped few products and we realized that our DNA is all about payments. And what exactly can we do in BFSI industry? We can focus on bringing innovation around payments. So that's where we aligned our vision, and that's where we created that value system in the organization, that let's start building product stacks, everything around payment, and let's not get into anything beyond that. So like I said, there's a lot to do in banking industry. I think if you pull out data for startups, if you pull out data for uh, where the maximum funds are being raised, or if you or even if you look out at, I mean, look at the kind of innovations happening in the industry, you'll realize that there's a huge contribution coming from those companies who work in BFSI segment. So there's lending, there's payment, there is CRM, there is even something like crypto. There is so much happening around BFSI, and then it said, let us stick with payment. That's where exactly we have built our stack for about 4 to 5 years, like I said earlier, and let us keep innovating around this. And that is what we have been doing. And right now, our vision is to ensure that we have stack in such a way, we have our solutions built so strong that anything and everything to do around financial value chain, it may be a small large entity, it may be a bank, it may be fintech, it may be Indian entity, it may be an MNC, they should think about NPST. When it comes to financial value chain, about transacting, about processing, about a great success rate, about building the future payment product, they should think about NPST. When they really want to solve some problem for their customers, when they really want to build new use cases for the industry, they should think about NPST. So that's what we want to build as a brand in the industry. And I think we are prepared for that, because like I said, 5 years, we have 5 to 6 years, we have invested only in building product. We did not sell. We stayed low, because if I had an elephant in my room, I wouldn't have got space to innovate. I wouldn't have got space to build my product stack. And that's why we completely avoided new business. That's why we completely avoided getting large orders. And once it was ready, then we said, let's start now going to the industry and let's start telling them what exactly we are doing. And that is what we did for about maybe a year or two. And with a small sales team, we have been able to communicate well with a lot of BFSI players. And I think now we really have good clientele. We really have good workload to innovate and to solve a lot of problems in the industry around payments. That's what I would call ourselves in BFSI.
Fantastic, Deepak. Your vision and mission, company's vision and mission for 2023.
I think somewhere I tried covering that.
You did, yes.
Yeah, but to be very precise, 2023 is where we want to build a very strong brand amongst the top decision makers in the industry, in banking and fintech both. They should remember us. We should be in the books of every consultant when they benchmark a payment company. Okay, we should be in the competitive list of every single competitor that I have in the industry. And all that is possible if we are able to gather the order book, what we have right now by the end of 22. If we are able to execute well what we currently have right now. So in short, what we really want to do is have a strong strategic partnership in industry, and at the same time, have at least 10x of the market share that we have in FY22. And by doing that, I think what we are doing is very strong case for our shareholders to stick with the organization for longer vision, and give them a great ROI for the confidence that they have bestowed on us.
Great, Deepak. And my next question is, with NPST's client being from the BFSI industry, which is emerging, right now, and which of the technologies you think must be implemented for improvising the customer experience in this industry?
I'll split this into two. One is purely from the tech side, another one is from the functional, delivery. When it comes to technology, let us look at the pattern in which UPI is growing. 8 billion transactions a month is not a joke to handle across, across India. It's coming from smaller cities, villages. The transaction is flowing from metro cities. It's coming from all across the country. And when that's happening, let us also look at the load it has created on the overall infrastructure of banks. We really want to see how exactly technology can help reduce this load and increase the capability. That's where we want to, focus right now. There's a lot of opportunity in doing an innovation around this space. Obviously, RBI keeps looking at innovative platforms which can take care of this particular challenge. At the same time, with increase in load, there are compliance challenges. There are challenges around how the funds are being utilized. Can we have strong tracking around this? So technically, how can we build those boundaries? Technically, how can we upgrade the overall platform and reduce the load on bank? So this is what I see technology can play, a very prominent role in the industry. And I think my team of Center of Excellence, that's what we built in the organization. We have a team of product manager, business, finance, research, all of them working together and trying to build this particular stack, how to take it forward, how to solve this problem in the industry. From the functional side, I personally see that UPI has a capability to solve every single problem that the industry may have around payment. So there's a lot happening. UPI so far has been tested only around account-to-account transactions, but now it's looking at prepaid, it's looking at credit cards. It has started building solutions around standing instructions. And when all of these happen, there are so many use cases around subscription-based business. So many business where the credit requirement can be fulfilled at a micro ticket size. So much that can be done with the small ticket size prepaid transactions. And when all of this stack is built into a single platform, we are giving an extremely seamless experience to the users in the industry.
Yeah.
So from the customer experience point of view, I would say in B2B segment, what I mentioned earlier solves their problem. That's where the customer experience would come. And on B2C side, making sure that the functional upgrade, what's happening in UPI, taking that to B2C segment will not only solve the problem, but will upgrade the overall experience that that the users will require to do seamless transactions in the industry. And trust me, when this happens, if this is what happens in 23, I think India will have a benchmark globally. I mean, of course, a lot of countries who are now coming to India trying to learn how we have done things. So I believe that 23, if this happens, we are way ahead of times where the entire world is right now. Yeah.
Right, right. Fantastic, great conversation with you, Deepak. Before we end, I have one last question.
Sure.
Um, any challenges that you can describe that you have faced while making your customers stay with you, and how did you succeed?
Startup challenge. I would say, let me be very honest. The way the demands have increased, the kind of product that we have built, that has also created certain challenge at the time of delivery. So we believe that it's good to go to the customer, but when the product starts giving that result, of course it has a lot of value which it creates amongst the customer and their ecosystem. And then what is the capacity that you have built in order to fulfill the future demand of the customer?
Mm.
That's the challenge that we are facing, and that's where we have started expanding our business vision. That's where we started investing in creating the right business processes, creating that level of operations which is required for an organization to scale the capacity.
Yeah.
So this is one challenge when it comes to capacity building, when it comes to delivering the future requirements of the customers. And I think over last 6 months, we have learned this well, that the organization can, of course, be built well in PNL, but how do we build organization culturally? How do we get the productivity from the existing lot, and how do we build the capacity extremely efficiently? So this is something that we have learned hard way. And over last 1 quarter, you can look at our earning calls, which we did about a few weeks back. Our PAT has grown by about 1,000%. Our revenue is growing revenue is growing extremely well. So this is one thing. Secondly, keeping abreast with the technology change in the industry. So are we prepared for the changes which is happening 5 years down the line? Are we prepared for the technology scale which is expected by the customer right away, but also 2 years down the line? So are we doing this? Are we doing things right now? And at the same time, am I doing things 2 years down the line and 5 years down the line? So for that, it is very imperative that my tech team has an R&D lab. My tech team has an innovation center, and my tech team has several questions coming to them right away, so that they are prepared going forward. So as an organization, we have invested in that area also. And I see FY23 a tremendous result coming out of that. So these are two challenges: scaling capacity, and then having an R&D lab in the organization.
Right, absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, Deepak, once again, for all your candid responses and for an amazing conversation. I think lovely insights for our viewers as well. Thank you, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Sure, Khushbu. I mean, I really enjoyed this conversation, and I believe that going forward, as and when we go ahead, there is a lot that I would like to share with with our shareholders, with future employees, with the entire industry.
Sure.
No doubt, you have given us a good platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you.